Welcome to our channel. Real IELTS begins here.
Listening Part 3. Two university students, Alice and James, are discussing their experiences with volunteering programs during a career session led by their academic advisor, Professor Smith.
So, Alice, you recently completed a volunteering program. How did you find the experience?
Honestly, I was really hesitant at first. I thought it would interfere with my studies, and I wasn't sure it would actually help my career. But in the end, I'm so glad I gave it a chance.
That's great to hear. And what about you, James? What was your initial impression?
I had no idea volunteering would come with so much responsibility. I was surprised by the variety of tasks I could choose from. I thought it would be all routine stuff, but I ended up managing events and even training new volunteers.
Interesting. That kind of responsibility is great for building skills. But how did you balance your studies with volunteering?
It was tough at first, but I learned that time management is everything. Once I started organizing my week better, I actually became more productive overall.
Exactly. Balancing studies and volunteering is all about managing your time efficiently. Now, Alice, you mentioned you worked with children. How was that?
It was challenging. Keeping their attention was harder than I expected. I didn't have any teaching experience, so I had to think on my feet and come up with creative activities to keep them engaged.
I can imagine. But working with kids must have taught you a lot about communication and problem solving.
Absolutely. I think my communication skills improved the most, along with my creativity. I had to adapt constantly, which was a good challenge.
James, what about you? What did you take away from your volunteering experience?
For me, the biggest benefit was building confidence. I learned how to work independently and take initiative, which I hadn't really done before.
Yes, confidence is key. Volunteering pushed me out of my comfort zone and gave me a sense of independence, too.
That's excellent. If you're thinking about another program, James, do you have anything lined up?
Well, there's an opportunity to lead a new project, but I'm not sure I'm ready for such a big role. I might stick to smaller tasks for now.
Fair enough. My advice is to choose programs that match your interests and consider the time commitment carefully. If you're able to find a program with strong mentors, that can make a huge difference in your experience.
That's true. Having guidance from experienced people really helped me grow.
Exactly. Volunteering is a fantastic way to build skills, but it's important to pick opportunities that align with your goals.
We've just completed listening Part 3, and now it's time to go through the questions in detail. Let's break down each one, analyze the options, and understand why the correct answers are what they are. This will help you sharpen your listening skills and avoid common mistakes in the future. So, let's dive into the solutions.
Question 21. Why was Alice initially hesitant to join the volunteering program? Option A. The relevant part of the listening states, "Honestly, I was really hesitant at first. I thought it would interfere with my studies, and I wasn't sure it would actually help my career." Alice clearly mentions her main concern was that volunteering might interfere with her studies. This is the first reason she gives for her hesitation, making it the primary concern. In IELTS listening, the first reason provided often carries the most weight as it reflects the speaker's main point. Why option A is correct? Alice's statement directly matches option A. Her concern about managing her studies is the clearest and strongest reason provided. Option B. The same line also includes, "I wasn't sure it would actually help my career." Here, Alice expresses doubt about how volunteering might benefit her career. However, this is mentioned after her concern about studies, making it a secondary reason. The question asks for the main reason for her hesitation. While career concerns are valid, they do not outweigh her initial concern about studies. Why option B is incorrect? Although it is mentioned, it is not the primary reason Alice hesitated. The question specifically targets her initial hesitation. Option C. There is no mention in the conversation about Alice lacking confidence in her skills. Alice's hesitation is based on practical concerns, time management and balancing her studies, not her ability or skills. Why option C is incorrect? The speaker does not say anything about lacking confidence in her abilities. This option introduces an idea that is not supported by the listening text. The correct answer is A. She thought it would interfere with her studies. Alice's statement makes it clear that this was her primary hesitation, while option B is secondary, and option C is irrelevant. Question 22. What did James say surprised him about volunteering? Option A. In the listening, James says, "I had no idea volunteering would come with so much responsibility." At first glance, this might make option A seem like the correct answer because James acknowledges the amount of responsibility. However, while he mentions the responsibility, he does not say that this surprised him. The surprise comes from something else, which is revealed in the next sentence. Why option A is incorrect? James mentions responsibility, but it is not framed as something surprising. It is simply stated as part of his experience. Option B. Immediately after mentioning responsibility, James says, "I was surprised by the variety of tasks I could choose from. I thought it would be all routine stuff, but I ended up managing events and even training new volunteers." This clearly highlights that James was surprised by the variety of tasks available in the volunteering program. He contrasts his expectation of routine stuff with the reality of managing events and training, emphasizing the variety as unexpected. Why option B is correct? The speaker explicitly says he was surprised by the variety of tasks. This directly matches option B. Option C. There is no mention in the listening about James experiencing a lack of professional guidance. Instead, James talks positively about the responsibilities and tasks he undertook, which contradicts the idea of insufficient guidance. Why option C is incorrect? This option introduces a concept, lack of guidance, that is not supported by anything James says. The correct answer is B, the variety of tasks he could choose from. James clearly states that this was what surprised him the most during his volunteering experience. Question 23. What does Professor Smith say about balancing studies and volunteering? Option A. In the listening, Professor Smith says, "Balancing studies and volunteering is all about managing your time efficiently." Professor Smith does not say that students should prioritize studies first. The focus is on managing time effectively so that both studies and volunteering can be balanced. Prioritize studies would mean putting studies above everything else, but that is not the main message here. Why question A is incorrect? This option does not reflect the speaker's point. The emphasis is on balance, not prioritization. Option B. Professor Smith clearly states, "Balancing studies and volunteering is all about managing your time efficiently." This directly matches option B, which emphasizes the importance of time management. Professor Smith's statement highlights that students can succeed in both areas as long as they organize their time well. Why question B is correct? The speaker explicitly identifies time management as the key to balancing studies and volunteering. Option C. At no point does Professor Smith say that volunteering provides better skills than coursework. While volunteering is presented as beneficial for gaining experience, there is no comparison to coursework. Why question C is incorrect? This statement is not supported by the listening. There is no suggestion that volunteering is better than coursework. The correct answer is B, time management is key to handling both successfully. Professor Smith emphasizes time management as the solution to balancing studies and volunteering effectively. Question 24. Why did Alice find working with children challenging? Option A. The relevant part of the listening states, "It was challenging. Keeping their attention was harder than I expected. I didn't have any teaching experience, so I had to think on my feet and come up with creative activities to keep them engaged." Alice clearly says that keeping their attention was harder than I expected. She emphasizes that maintaining their focus was one of the main difficulties she faced. This directly matches option A, which highlights her struggle to keep the children engaged. Why option A is correct? The speaker explicitly states her difficulty in keeping the children's attention, which aligns perfectly with option A. Option B. Alice does say, "I didn't have any teaching experience, so I had to think on my feet and come up with creative activities." While Alice mentions her lack of teaching experience, this is not presented as the main challenge. Instead, her lack of experience is given as a reason why it was difficult to keep the children engaged. Why option B is incorrect? This is a contributing factor, not the main challenge. The key issue was keeping their attention, not just her inexperience. Option C. At no point does Alice describe the environment as chaotic. She focuses on the specific difficulty of keeping the children's attention rather than the overall environment. Why option C is incorrect? There is no mention of chaos or an unexpectedly challenging environment in her description. The correct answer is A. She struggled to keep their attention. Alice's statement makes it clear that this was the main difficulty she faced while working with children. Question 25. What do Alice and James agree is the biggest benefit of volunteering? Option A. In the listening, Alice and James discuss their experiences. Alice says, "Volunteering pushed me out of my comfort zone and gave me a sense of independence." 2. James adds, "For me, the biggest benefit was building confidence. I learned how to work independently and take initiative, which I hadn't really done before." Both Alice and James highlight confidence and independence as the most significant outcomes of their volunteering experiences. Why option A is correct? Both speakers explicitly agree that volunteering helped them gain confidence and independence. Alice emphasizes independence, while James focuses on confidence and taking initiative. Option B. Neither Alice nor James mentions building connections as the main benefit of volunteering. Their discussion focuses more on personal growth, confidence and independence, rather than networking or career connections. Why option B is incorrect? This option is not supported by anything they say in the conversation. Option C. Working in a team is not mentioned as the main benefit. While teamwork might have been part of their experiences, both speakers focus on personal growth, confidence and independence, instead of teamwork. Why option C is incorrect? Teamwork is not discussed as a primary outcome or benefit in the listening. The correct answer is A. Gaining confidence and independence. Both speakers highlight how volunteering helped them grow personally by building confidence and learning independence. Question 26. How does James feel about his next volunteering opportunity? Option A. In the listening, James says, "Well, there's an opportunity to lead a new project, but I'm not sure I'm ready for such a big role. I might stick to smaller tasks for now." Here, James explicitly says he's not sure he's ready for a leadership role. This shows hesitation, not excitement. The phrase, "I might stick to smaller tasks for now," clearly contradicts the idea of excitement for leadership. Why option A is incorrect? James does not express excitement about taking on a leadership role. Instead, he shows hesitation and doubts his readiness. Option B. James says, "I might stick to smaller tasks for now." This is a clear statement of James's preference. He acknowledges the leadership opportunity but explicitly chooses smaller tasks as his comfort zone. Why option B is correct? James directly states his preference for focusing on smaller tasks rather than taking on a bigger role. Option C. While James expresses doubt about taking on a leadership role, he does not say he is unsure about committing to the opportunity altogether. Instead, he makes a clear choice to stick with smaller tasks. Why option C is incorrect? James's uncertainty is about the size of the role, not about committing to volunteering. He has already decided to focus on smaller tasks. The correct answer is B. He prefers to focus on smaller tasks. James clearly states his preference in the conversation, showing that he is more comfortable with smaller, manageable responsibilities. Questions 27 to 28. Which two skills did Alice say she improved the most during volunteering? Option A. Leadership and decision-making. Alice does not mention improving her leadership or decision-making skills. Instead, she focuses on adapting and engaging with the children, which is more about creativity and communication. Option B. Time management. While Alice mentions time management earlier in the discussion as something she learned while balancing her studies, she does not highlight it as a skill she improved the most during her volunteering. Option C. Communication skills. In the listening, Alice says, "I think my communication skills improved the most, along with my creativity. I had to adapt constantly, which was a good challenge." Alice directly mentions that her communication skills improved during her volunteering experience. This was likely because she had to interact with children and come up with creative ways to keep them engaged. Why option C is correct? The speaker explicitly states that communication skills were one of the areas where she saw the most improvement. Option D. Creativity and problem solving. In the same part of the listening, Alice adds, "I had to adapt constantly, which was a good challenge." Alice's need to adapt and come up with creative solutions to engage the children shows her growth in creativity and problem solving. This aligns directly with option D. Why option D is correct? Alice emphasizes the challenge of adapting and thinking on her feet, which demonstrates growth in creativity and problem solving. Option E, technical skills. There is no mention of Alice working on tasks that required technical skills. Her challenges and improvements are related to creativity and communication. The correct answers are C, communication skills. D, creativity and problem solving. Alice explicitly mentions improving her communication and creativity while adapting to the challenges of volunteering. Questions 29 to 30. Which two suggestions does Professor Smith give for choosing a volunteering program? Option A, look for programs that match your interests. In the listening, Professor Smith says, "My advice is to choose programs that match your interests and consider what you enjoy doing." Professor Smith directly advises students to focus on their interests when selecting a volunteering program. This ensures that students engage in meaningful and enjoyable experiences. Why option A is correct? The speaker explicitly mentions this as a suggestion, so it matches option A perfectly. Option B, consider the time commitment required. While time management is discussed earlier in the conversation, Professor Smith does not suggest this as a primary factor for choosing a program. Option C, choose opportunities with strong mentors. Professor Smith continues, if you're able to find a program with strong mentors, that can make a huge difference in your experience. Professor Smith emphasizes the importance of mentors in volunteering programs, as they can provide guidance, support, and valuable learning opportunities. Why option C is correct? The speaker clearly identifies having strong mentors as a key factor in choosing a volunteering program. Option D, prioritize programs with professional networks. There is no mention of professional networks in Professor Smith's advice. The focus is more on personal growth and mentorship rather than networking opportunities. Option E, avoid programs that require travel. Professor Smith does not talk about travel as a factor to avoid. This option introduces an idea that is not supported by the conversation. The correct answers are A, look for programs that match your interests. C, choose opportunities with strong mentors. Professor Smith explicitly highlights these two suggestions, emphasizing the importance of personal interest and strong guidance in choosing a volunteering program.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more IELTS practice materials. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. See you in the next video.